Hello, welcome to Gen Z Finance. I'm documenting my financial journey here on YouTube and over on my Instagram at Zennial Finance. So please make sure to like this video, subscribe to my channel, and go follow me over there for more personal finance content. Today, it is time to budget my first paycheck of February of 2022. We're going to be doing that here in YNAB, the budgeting software system I use to track and manage my money. But before we actually budget my money, there is something I want to do in my budget and kind of rearrange some things around. So we're going to come down here to my savings, and these are more like my medium to long-term savings items. And these first four sections up here with like the SOS emoji at the beginning, this is kind of what I consider like my true emergency fund. And you can see it's broken out into 4 different categories: a general emergency fund, a car emergency fund, my out-of-pocket max. This is what I use to fund all of my medical expenses and bills throughout the year. And then this 2 months ahead fund. But pretty much between this 2 months ahead fund and then me actually budgeting 1 month ahead, I have a kind of 3-month emergency fund with this money. Okay, so what I've decided to do is consolidate this. This has been my structure for like a year or maybe more, and it helped me at the beginning, but I no longer need them like broken out to be this specific. So I think I just want one singular emergency fund, and then I'm still gonna have my out-of-pocket max as a separate line item because again, I use that to fund my medical bills, and I always want to know exactly how much I have spent of my out-of-pocket max for the year. So this is a separate line item and I'm going to keep it that way, but we're going to consolidate the car emergency fund and the 2 months ahead. So this is all going to go into my general emergency fund. So $1,500 move to general emergency fund. 2 months ahead, move to general emergency fund. And I'm going to hide. And so now I'm going to edit this target balance. It was set at $3,000. I'm going to edit this to $6,000 so that it's showing as completely funded. But then I'm going to change this from $3,000 to $8,000. So the reason I am changing this is because technically, if you remember here, I had just $1,000 budgeted, but I had a fully funded general emergency fund, and I still do. It's just that $2,000 of it is not in my budget. It is over here as a tracking account. I took $2,000 out of my emergency fund at the end of 2021 and put that into I-bonds. So currently that $2,000 is locked away for a year. I won't be able to even touch that money until November of 2022. But anyway, so if you do count that $2,000, which even though I won't be able to touch it for the next like 9 to 10 months, I do still consider it as part of my general emergency fund. So that's why there's $6,000 in here, but my entire emergency fund is actually $8,000. And now this is just a little bit simpler. Okay, now let's get into reconciling my budget. We're going to start by just going into my checking account, entering in my paycheck, and reconciling all my other accounts.
This payment to my credit card cleared, so 154929, yes. I'm going to go ahead and enter in this paycheck now.
And then I'm just going to go to my credit card really quickly and make sure that that is reconciled as well. You can see that there are several transactions that are not cleared, so we're just going to make sure that those can now be cleared and locked down.
So this $24.95, the $616.78, that was payment to my credit card, $892, $23, and then $25.25. So I can reconcile this, and my account balance is $82.12, yes.
What I am going to do is search in here up top for Ren, and I'm going to change these categories here. I'm actually going to create a new category. So this is, I talked about this in my January budget review, but this is for a service that contribute and donate to projects that will help you lower your carbon footprint. I have currently signed up to do it monthly and do a contribution of $25.25. And so that is net neutral. So based on how much I'm consuming, this is what the website recommended that I donate to have a net neutral carbon footprint. And so I was putting that under donations, but I want to change the category that is in, just because it's not really it's not like a donation. It's not something that's tax deductible. So I'm going to treat it more like a bill, like more like a subscription. So I'm going to add a category. I think I want this to be like a temperature, like a thermometer project, net neutral, and it's $25.25, and it comes out on the 6th of every month. Okay, so we're going to save it to that category. Same thing here. We can now save it to that category, and then I'm also going to change it for the upcoming transaction. Save. So now if we go back to my budget, you can see that it's showing overspending because I did have that category tracked under donations. So I just need to cover this with the money from donations. but I also need to go back into January and do the same thing. So I'm gonna take the money from donations, and then you can see down here that now I have $84.02 available in donations. Okay, so now that those two things are done, we can start budgeting out my paycheck. So you can see on this tab, I do have my 2022 paycheck planning workbook open. So if you've seen some of my previous videos, especially around like planning out for 2022, then this will look familiar to you. This is a spreadsheet I created and I actually have available for purchase in the description box down below if you want more details. But it's a spreadsheet I use to kind of plan out which paychecks are going to cover what expenses, you know, for every month. So you can kind of see it's a rough plan. I update it monthly, I update it weekly as my priorities change and as my income changes, everything like that. So I am just going to be referring back to this spreadsheet while I'm doing my YNAB budget. But first things first, we're going to jump forward into March because most of my core bills for February are paid for or taken care of already because I do budget 1 month ahead. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to take $450 and put that towards bills to mom. This covers my phone bill, my car insurance, and then some groceries and household expenses. Next, we're going to do $25.25 for the Project Net Neutral subscription, and then $16.15 for my other monthly subscriptions. The other thing I need to do is come down here to hidden categories, open up these are like my annual subscription fees, and put some money aside for these. So I can now rehide those. And so as I'm completing all of these, I'm just going to like bold the amounts in my spreadsheet so that I know I have done them. For my monthly varied living, I'm going to only budget $80 towards my living expenses for March. I'm going to hope that that will be enough. I'm going to do like a little bit of a restock in February. So March I should be good. I normally try to put $100 into my monthly varied living, but we're going to aim for $20. Another area I'm going to cut is I normally put $170 towards my fun money category. I'm going to just do $150 for March. And then I need to make sure I do the $50 in prescriptions. Donations, I'm going to do $25, and I'm going to edit this goal because my goal, it will be $25 now that I have that $25 obligation up here. So I'm just going to be doing another $25 for donations, $85 for gifts, and then $15 for family giving. I'm going to add another $65 into therapy, and then $15 into electronics. That leaves me with $108.54. And now most of my March obligations and living expenses are funded. Okay, so with the $108.54, I'm going to put $100 towards travel and trips. So I still need about $50 more in this category to fully fund it for the month, and I'm hoping that I can do that with the next paycheck. But that leaves me $854. I'm just gonna pop that. We'll put $5 in random acts of kindness. And then the last $354, I'm going to come back to February and drop it down into my holding category for now, and I will deal with it later once that $813 kind of grows to be a little bit more cash that I could actually, you know, put into another category. So that is it for my normal paycheck. However, I do have one more bit of cash to budget today, and so we're going to go ahead and add that transaction in so the payee is going to be business account. I'm actually finally paying myself from like my small business that I have here, and the memo, this is going to be like pretty much all of the compensation that I was supposed to pay myself in 2021. I'm finally like paying it now as a lump sum at the beginning of 2022. So I'm just gonna put 2021, and in total it is $350. So now if we go to my budget, you can see I have that $350 up here to assign. So again, if I consult my paycheck planning workbook, you can see I've accounted for the $350 here in this column P underneath like other such extra income for February. So $350, and I'm gonna go ahead and put all of that $350 towards my Roth IRA. Funding my Roth IRA is the current like number one focus where I want most of my extra money to go towards. Obviously I have other savings goals that I'm saving towards at the same time, but like I said, any extra money I want to go towards my Roth IRA so I can fully fund it and max it out just a little bit early. And then once my Roth IRA is fully maxed out, I can put any extra income plus the standard like $500 a month I try to put towards my Roth IRA to like the next savings goal. So I'm gonna go ahead and put that $350 into my Roth IRA in February. You can see I already had the standard deduction and schedule transaction to come out of my checking account towards my Roth IRA on the 1st, but now I can make an additional kind of payment of $350. Okay, wait, I am back like on the next day, and I just want to budget one more thing because I got another source of kind of miscellaneous income. Okay, I'm just gonna put the pay as bank credit offer fee. It's gonna be ready to assign, and this is gonna be from Fidelity. So in 2021, I accidentally overcontributed to like my 401k, and I didn't realize it until I was getting my tax documents. I overcontributed to the combined 401k total by $99. So I had to get that rectified, and Fidelity ended up cutting me a check for $115.03. So that is the $99 that I overcontributed to, plus the interest on that $99. I guess that's how they calculated it. So I got that paycheck, and so $115.03. We're gonna put this exactly where we put the extra money that I got for my like business paycheck. So we're gonna put $115 into the Roth IRA, and we're gonna put the last 3 cents into holding. Okay, so now I should be done with my budgeting. All right, so that is going to be it for this video and for this budget with me. I hope everything I did and changed around made sense to y'all. But thank you all so much for watching. As always, I hope y'all are staying safe and healthy and that you have a good day.